Hello everybody, and welcome back to another weapons type video. It's been a while since I actually did end up doing one, but this one is going to be a little different compared to my top 10 videos. This one is going to be about the original and remake weapons in RE4, basically versing each other to see which one is better, but I gotta put out a few disclaimers out. When it comes to the bonus weapons like the Sentinel-9, Skull Shaker, and PRL-412, those weapons will not count, including the newly added ones in the remake like the Assault Rifle and the MP5. I also know the professional difficulty is completely different in both games, but again, it all depends on how I felt using these guns. Of course, you might not like my results, but I'm gonna be honest, it's not like I really care. You can freely make your own list in the comments down below or your own video on this topic. If a certain weapon wins, it'll get a point, but let's say I can't decide and I give both guns a tie, they both get a point, and the weapons with the most amount of points will win. Again, this is just my opinion, don't get offended if you're not happy with this. And now, let's get into the listing. We're going to start off with the pistols first and work our way down. So obviously the Silver Ghost is first. In the original, it is my favorite gun ever and my go-to throughout my playthroughs, mostly because of the critical headshot ability. It gets once maxed out, and the satisfaction of getting headshots is so good. I tested it out in the remake and I thought initially that it wasn't going to do well, but I'm not going to lie with you guys. They're practically the exact same. The laser sight and the critical headshot abilities are the same. Firepower is practically the same as well. I guess the Silver Ghost in the original has more capacity and probably faster reload speed. So from that logic, I guess you can say the OG Silver Ghost is better, but to be honest, I really like the remake Silver Ghost as well. So in reality, I'm actually going to give this one a tie. Next one is the Punisher. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. They are practically the exact same gun and are both the worst handguns in their respective games. It's just the difference is one sounds a lot cooler than the other, and that obviously is the original Punisher. Only a slight capacity difference, same firepower almost, reload speed, penetration, it's all the same, so it's going to be a tie nonetheless. Now this is where things get tricky because the next weapon is the Red 9. Both of these guns in each game are super good. The Red 9 in the remake is actually my go-to because of how powerful it is compared to its others, but the Red 9 in the original holds its weight as well just as much because that thing is even more powerful, holds more ammo, fires faster, and so much more. By the way, I don't really use the stock for either gun. I think the thing is just a waste of space in inventory. I know it's weird for me to say the remake one is a go-to compared to the other one, but it just fails in comparison in my opinion. So I'm going with the original. The next one is the Blacktail. This was a tricky one. The reason why actually is because of the fact that the remake Blacktail is a lot smaller inventory size, which is a good thing. You can always fit in resources, extra handgun ammo, or whatever kind of ammo, and health items. The only thing I don't like about it is how it compares to the original one. The firepower, capacity, you legit name it, it's better. But when I use them, I love the way the remake one handles, but the original one handles just as good if not better, and the reloading speed is so good as well. When you hear that there is a handgun that can have 35 bullets fit into a clip, you want to take that one instead of the one with 14. As much as I love the one in the remake, I have to give this one to the original. The last handgun in the game is the Matilda. Both are bonus weapons you gotta unlock later on in the game. I'm not gonna lie, the more I see these statistics, it's crazy how the original just has more busted guns. I really like how there is no recoil in the remake Matilda, but it melts through the ammo so much easier. And the same can be said about the original, but the thing is that that gun can fit 100 bullets into it. It's more powerful, has better firing speed and everything else. And it originally comes with the stock, so you don't have to worry about getting it as well in addition to just the sole pistol. This is going to the original. Now it's time to get into the shotguns. Let's start with the original one you get in the house. In the original, this is easily the worst shotgun in the game. There's not much firepower and its ability is honestly kind of useless in my opinion because I forget about it a lot and it's just really weak in general. The remake one blows it out of the water with an actual proper exclusive ability. This thing is drastically superior comparing to its original version. Sure, the capacity isn't much, but the firepower is so much better. This is 100% going to the remake. Also, the firing speed is better too, but that's the case with all the shotguns in the remake. Next is the Rygun. Now this is probably the toughest one to decide. The original one is really good and gets a firepower bonus and holds more capacity. But the remake one is more powerful and has way better firing speed. I think the design goes to the original, but that's really it. And I think the Rygun in the remake handles a lot better, so I'm going with the remake for this one. Now the next one is the Striker, and I think you guys know where I'm going. When you hear the words 100 bullet shotgun, you won't even give a damn about anything else and you'll want that gun. You won't care for the firepower or anything else, even though the remake one is better. Sure, it has 48 bullets in the remake, but in the end, I'm taking an extra 52 bullets I can use. The firing speed obviously goes to the remake, but the original had a really big unfair advantage to it, so I'm going to stick with that one. Now next up is the TMP. I'm going to quickly say this off the bat and keep it short. The remake TMP is arguably the worst gun in the game, and the TMP, the original in my opinion, is the most underrated. 180 bullets more and has more firepower, and I think the original one is more accurate than anything else. So yeah, just off that, I'm going with the original. Now next is the sniper rifles, and we're going to start off with the bolt action one. Surprisingly, when I was using these guns and looking at the stats, you would think the original one wipes the floor with the remake one. Way more firepower and more capacity, right? But the firing speed of the remake one genuinely makes me want to go with it. The original's firing speed could not be upgraded, and the remake version cooks it with that, and I think that's what gets me over. I love the reload animation no matter what in the OG, but that one thing puts it over the hump for me. I'm giving this one to the remake. Now for the SemiAuto Rifle or the Stingray. When I tested these guns out, they honestly both felt the exact same. Despite the overwhelming firepower difference, it felt like the Stingray was the exact same again, and was statistically faster firing. The only thing I didn't like about the remake one was that the first person aiming without a scope, it kinda sucks. But the original one is great too, with more capacity and whatnot, and actually has a scope by itself. But in general, this honestly feels like a tie for me. Now we move into the magnums of each game, starting with the Broken Butterfly. The original gun had way better handling and superior firepower. The firing speed was so quick and made it so comfortable to use it. Felt like the ultimate magnum. I can say the same for the remake one because they have the same exclusive abilities, but the difference to me is the firing speed along with the handling. The Broken Butterfly in the remake felt like the handling of the hand cannon, but just quicker. Also, the original has more capacity even though it's not by much. I'm giving this point to the original gun. Next is the Killer 7. This is the most deceiving gun in the original. It costs so much money to buy, but the weird thing is that it gets no exclusive ability, so it felt like why purchase it? Probably because the gun looks super cool. Sure, it handled well, but nothing like more capacity or anything felt like a bummer. And I'm not gonna lie, the same thing can be said about the remake one. Despite it getting an exclusive ability, it's practically the most useless one of them all, especially for a magnum which can already penetrate from its own will. I was really leaning towards the remake one because of hearing about the ability, but when I saw it, it was the worst one. I just threw my hands in the air. The Killer 7 in the OG handles better and has more firepower. The remake holds more ammo, but I think this is a tie. I also like the fact that it does say Killer 7 on the OG gun, but not the remake, and the same thing can be said about the Red 9 in the remake. It's really funny. Now we're going on to the last magnum, technically, the hand cannon. Both guns can use infinite ammo and have amazing firepower. They cost a lot to upgrade, but the original one holding 99.9 firepower is insane, giving the gun 2 exclusive abilities and can kill anything it felt like in one shot. The hand cannon in the remake felt worse to handle, along with only getting 1 ability. The firepower is drastically different, and even on professional, some normal enemies were able to tank the first bullet of the hand cannon in the remake. Also, the original one had its own exclusive ammo, which made it feel more rare and unique. I'm giving this one to the original gun, no contest. So, we're technically down to the final 2 or 3 weapons, and we have the mine/bolt thrower. Now, I will say both weapons are not my cup of tea, but I love the fact that the remake one was expanded on. That being, it can be a stealth weapon with just the arrows and be the OG mine thrower with the attachable mines to it. The only things I don't like about it is that it doesn't have a scope, and each time you have to attach a mine to an arrow, you have to repeat the process again, which is kind of annoying in my opinion. The mine thrower in the original was alright, it's just that the ammo was super scarce, I believe. I just think even with my complaints, the remake one is superior in my opinion. So you know what the point is going to. The last weapon of this game is the Chicago Typewriter. By the way, I'm not doing the infinite rocket launcher, it just goes boom as many times as it wants in both games. The original one is so overpowered, again having 2 exclusive abilities reaching firepower to the level of a shotgun and unlimited ammo. The remake one does have unlimited ammo, but the problem is that the firepower is 2.0 on the level of the Silver Ghost pistol. The original one was able to kill an enemy in 2 bullets, maybe less, and the remake one takes a lot more, not to mention how accurate the Typewriter is in the original too. Despite both guns being extremely overpowered, you can't convince me that the remake one is better. This is easily going to the original one without a doubt. Now, I didn't want to include this, but I might as well. The last weapon in the game I will be giving a rating to is the knife. I don't even want to begin the differences because the remake made everything more expansive about the knife. The fact you can collect Krauser's knife and use it, along with unlocking Leon's OG knife and the small knives you can pick up to help you, the parrying, which is such a saving grace. Upgrading makes it feel like a more pure weapon, comparing to the original despite bitching Krauser like crazy and being more powerful and not having to worry about it breaking. As much as I love Leon's knife in the original, the abilities, parrying, and so much more makes the knife in the remake more superior in my opinion. Well, here is the final tally on the screen. I can probably do other weapons like Ada's crossbow and all that, but I just wanted to do the main story weapons. If you guys agree with me or just disagree, let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button for more RE content in the near future. And as always, I will catch you guys in my next video. Peace out and much love.